And also seeing bits and pieces of all of our friends who were here before in spaces that I've been in my life where I used to make that wrong. I would make people wrong. I would make past experience wrong. And I get that it's all a part of wherever everybody is, and there's no right or it's just their view. And it's
Then
the
you know what you're
distinction.
doing? When you have found a way to make peace with your past, you know what you're doing? Changing the past. Because it was only perceptual anyway. What past is the real one anyway? Who would you like to write the history of what's going on in your nation today? Who could accurately write it with all the different vantage points? What could they possibly put in the history book that would have any real form of any true reality when it's such a combination of so many different perspectives? So when you are able to feel good about a past that at one time you didn't feel good about, you're seeing it through the eyes of Source, you are changing the past. And the parts about it that bothered you can therefore never come back and bother you again, because those parts don't exist, because they only existed in your perception anyway.
And people show up differently.
They do. Oh, changing your neighbors. How you feel about people is influential. When you have discovered how to truly love, the loveliest people shows itself to you. The loveliest parts of them come out of the woodwork and surprise you. Whoa, where did that come from? I'm used to you being different.
And I remember you shared when something to the extent of, I remember when I made you a bitch or whatever perspective was like the worst perspective you're bringing out in that person, because I can see it and get it. And it had such a profound shift with my mom and my family and my parents, and to see them and be there with them, just really wholeheartedly just be with people.
And then here's what you're really reaching for, being the teacher born to be, an uplifter that you are. So once you get the hang of it, and you have, of your own alignment steady, and therefore your own influence steady, then you serve as a sort of satellite dish. You've beamed in the signal so that they can catch a whiff of it easier. You're influencing others to the same joyful connection that you are enjoying. Yeah. And they might come, they might not, but them not coming and that not bothering you is a really good sign.
And it's so funny, because I remember when I looked at people a certain way, especially the family, because they're the greatest fun. And I now see where they're like, oh wow, by my example of what I'm being and doing, not trying to fix them or looking at them, just leaving them alone, that they want to spend time with me more. They're interested in what I'm doing in my life, and they want to be with me. I know, I get it, but to know and get it, and to have the lesson or to hear it is so completely different than life experience. And this week, I've been experiencing something more where I felt somebody came into my life where maybe they didn't know where they were going, and I saw that, and she came in, and through my guidance and with our interaction and through what I saw with her and her with me, I felt like she expanded, and so did I, and the goosebumps.
It's always that way. Can't be otherwise.
And before, I never experienced like the whole of me was shaking, like I was vibrating, like just pulsing through me. Every hair on my body was standing up, because I was like, this must be the magical moments that the life is really made of, like true, real expansion.
What a moment like that is really indicating is you moving into a fuller accessing of the wholeness of who you are. And the reason that it felt that way to you physically is because that sensation was you getting up to speed with you. When Esther first began speaking for us, and first she was sitting because she was so unstable, the mixing of the energies was unsettling to her. But then eventually she began standing. The coming of Abraham was the way she described it. Really, it was the lifting of Esther that was happening. It was our dominant energy and her being close enough to it that we could call her into it, but it gave her a sensation of swooning, a little disorientation for a little bit. But she doesn't have that anymore. But it doesn't mean that the alignment is not as complete. It just means she didn't have to go so far to get it. You see what we're getting at? And so these sensations that you have are about your energy adjusting upward, just like negative emotion is your energy adjusting downward, or it's you being influenced away from your natural influence. And we want to just punctuate that, because everyone that you're meeting, it is natural for them to be drawn to you when you are in your alignment. And the more you're in alignment, the more you begin to realize how easy it is to influence people to that. That's why music concerts are filled to the brim. People want to feel good.